What's going on, everybody? Eric Lindquist at Stokastic here on the Odd Shopper channel, coming to you with a Thursday edition of NBA Lindy's Leans, Likes, and Locks. Hit that like button, subscribe button, notification bell goes a long way for me on this video. Goes a long way for you. That way you become a prize whenever great content is going live here at our little neck of the YouTube woods. Producer Jacob was mocking me. I'm not even going to acknowledge it because Peyton Pritchard just went absolutely crazy, and thank God I did not attach Boston minus 12.5 in the Discord. Again, talking through the leans, the numbers never really moved in the right direction, and again, you will always get my exact plays, exactly when I placed them. And Peyton Pritchard, we ended up cashing out over 10.5 points, 10.5 points. What a joke. He had 18 in less than 3 quarters. He cashed that in the first half. That felt good. But John Morant, he had 10 at halftime here. We'll see how the second half's going. I haven't even turned it back on here. I had to close the iPad because I'm so mad. I almost bet a bunch of stuff with the Jokic news, but from a DFS perspective, it was a disaster. We're not even going to talk about that. But this is a betting program. We're talking about all of the bets that I'm going to make. And hopefully we can get Orlando to have a second half comeback because Goga Bitadze got ruled out with a concussion. When did he get concussed? He was on the injury report with a hip. I cannot stand the NBA with these absolute mockeries. They make mockeries of the injury report right now, and I'm losing my mind because Goga Bitadze was a huge part of the analysis of that Orlando number, plus 6.5. I'm shocked the number didn't move. I probably should have hit the cash out button, but I didn't. Only 5 games here on Thursday. I'm ready to rock. Producer Jacob, let's get to the picks. In control. That's the third time I've done this bit. You don't know that. I know that, though. Indy, plus 2.5, taking on Detroit, 227.5 total. We got a big question mark here in Tyrese Halliburton sitting, and it makes it very difficult to give you analysis for this game because when I simulated out with Tyrese Halliburton on the floor, you see this total look a lot better than 227.5. If you simulate him with the total with him off the floor, well, you're going to see that total come down. And again, this is just one of those where I think it's more than likely he ends up playing. And that's why I'm a little trepidatious with this play because, again, the data has this on the under of 227.5. And shouldn't be surprising, Detroit, they've made us a lot of money this season. We've backed them at locks at plus 7.5, ended up coming to fruition. We had another plus 7.5 here recently against the Knicks on a back-to-back. That was just a like for what it's worth. And we've backed them money line in the premium Discord for a big plus 230 smash against the Lakers. I have Detroit as one of my most profitable teams this season, and it shouldn't be that surprising because I think the public perception is that they're a below 500 team and terrible. They're above 500 and they're very good because Cade Cunningham's a stud. I will throw this out there. Cade Cunningham props. Once those start matriculating in a little bit more here, I'm not going to be very high on them if Halliburton is out because you get Andrew Nembhard defense, Ben Shepherd defense, TJ McConnell, even just more of a try-hard guy. We're talking a bottom 10th percentile defender in Tyrese Halliburton offensively. We know what he can provide Indy when he's playing like he has over the course of the last couple of weeks. But I'm just going to make both of these leans for now. I don't have a great feel for how Halliburton's injury is going to come to fruition here in this spot. We know Jaden Ivey out on the Detroit side. So Detroit minus 2.5, under 227.5. It's a really tough one for me to get a hold of, but we'll say Cade Cunningham, absolute wagon this season for the Detroit Pistons. Let's get into a play, and boy, is this one uncomfortable. Phoenix, they ended up hitting the trade block. Acquisition. Nick Richards from Charlotte, their backup center. He's heading to Phoenix to be their starting center. That's what they ask of him now. Does he get the physical done in time? I don't know. That is pretty tough to tell you here night before, but neither of these teams on a back-to-back, which again, we're going to get to a couple of teams that are, and it gets a little bit messy here in the late night window with LAC at Portland and Houston at Sacramento. But this play is actually my second favorite that I currently have on the board. The late night window, I think we're going to find ourselves some nice value here when it comes to closing line value. I'll talk through the ins and outs of that one because, well, Houston's on the back-to-back. But Phoenix, yeah, Bradley Beal. He gets dinged up, and I know he's been coming off the bench here of late. I know it's Washington on the other side, and I know Kevin Durant's from Washington, and somebody's going to go on Twitter and let everybody know that tomorrow. We're all aware he's going back to his hometown. Stop it. I will be cheering for Washington against Detroit for what it's worth. Jaden Daniels is a stud. I don't know if I'm going to bet them. I just started my NFL stuff, but Washington, they got a lot of healthy pieces coming back here in this spot. Jordan Poole, Bub Carrington, Bilal Coulibaly, Kyle Kuzma, and Alexander Saw. It's Olivia Saw, not Olivia Saw. Shout out for the ones who know that one. But Malcolm Brogdon, he's close to returning. He won't be back for this one, but Marvin Bagley, the only other piece that's out. Everybody else, Jared Butler, who's been playing some good basketball for this team. Kaishan George, they're a lot deeper. Corey Kispert's been knocking down shots left and right. I think this is just one of those spots where Phoenix, they're kind of on the struggle bus. Making trades to start Nick Richards should be at the top of that list. And I don't think you should be getting 11 points here for most home teams in most situations, unless they're facing one of Boston, one of OKC. Those are the kind of situations where home teams should be laying or, giving up 11. But I gotta say here, Washington getting 11 points here, it's too wide of a number for me. This was going to be a lean but I ended up getting the money down on it. I ended up pulling the trigger in the end. I think this is one, though. We might go to 11.5, 12 by the time you hear this. It is what it is. I wanted to lock in a little bit of volume here to potentially the spot that I could be really mad at myself because I try to be sensitive to what is going on in the marketplace. And if you've been along for the ride for the Evan Mobley threes, you know what I'm talking about. Cleveland, 2.5 going up against Oklahoma City, the top 3 defensive teams in the NBA. Well, these are 2 of them facing each other here, and yet we get a 232.5 total. Now, Eric, why is that? Well, because pace is a thing in this world, my friends, and pace is what you shall find here. In fact, I don't think people recognize what Cleveland is doing this season and how the switch is flipped on a dime. Kenny Atkinson is a stud. 119 adjusted offensive rating is first in the NBA. That is the Cleveland Cavaliers. First in offensive rating. Now, they're only 12th here in adjusted defensive rating, but I think we know by now, well, things have been good. I get a little bit trepidatious, though, because Cleveland, in adjusted strength of schedule, based on the record of the teams they've faced, 30th in the NBA. It's not great when there's 30 teams in the NBA, but that's why you see such a ridiculous record. I'm excited to run back this game. I mean, I think it was probably the premier basketball game that we watched all season long so far this year, where you saw Cleveland and OKC duel in Cleveland. Nice to be running it back in OKC. And yet we're going to go to the Cleveland side here with the prop. Now, Isaiah Hartenstein is going to be out for a week. That is a huge deal. And I think that is the other major reason that you're looking at this total of 232.5. But the other thing is that you're going to see a 98th percentile defender replaced more than likely by Jalen with a Y-L-I-N Williams, not the A-L-E-N. Did I spell that correctly? Yes, Jalen Williams, the really good one who plays like 30 plus minutes. This other Jalen Williams, yeah, pretty much only defensively can he do anything, but he is not even remotely close to the same kind of defender that Isaiah Hartenstein is. And now we get Evan Mobley going out, roaming the perimeter. And I repeat, he is a completely different human being, shooting on the season 42.9% from 3. Who told you a month ago at plus 225 to start jumping on the Evan Mobley train as he was getting more comfortable as the volume increased? That was me. He averages just 30 minutes per game. This is a competitive spot where they are dogs. You don't have the main defensive center point out there, and we're getting plus 140 now instead of plus 225. Now, it is a lean for this reason. I think more books are going to open up props, specifically looking at Bet365, and that has generally been the plus 150 or better book. I personally haven't bet this yet, and my rule is that if I haven't bet it yet and I still have interest in it and would probably be betting at the plus 140 number, doesn't matter. It gets the lean treatment because you will always have me with a betting ticket. Otherwise, it will not go on the card here as a like. A like generally being around a half unit, a lock, that's usually a unit or more. Let's talk about Lindy 5-0. But Evan Mobley, know that I'm very interested. Plus 140 currently on FanDuel. I want a little bit better. Hey, you'll find exactly what I bet every single time over in Tails. That is the premium Discord down below. You'll get Discord access. You'll also get when you sign up with the OddsShopper app, which is completely free over on the App Store, over on Google Play as well. You download OddsShopper, ODDSSHOPPER. Why am I spelling so much today? Well, how about spelling this down at the video description box below? LINDY 50. But not F-I-V, whatever. You get the idea. It's on the screen in front of you. Lindy 50. Get yourself the first week or first month, whichever you decide, 50% off. That is $10 for your first week, just over $1 a day, or $25 for your first month, just under $1 a day to get all my plays before everybody else. I would love to see you there. Back to the Discord. Well, also you get a ton of other plays that I don't have on the video because they happen the day of. I mean, that was like a majority of the plays today. Anywho, that's all I got for you. 2 more games. Let's get to it. The Clippers on a back-to-back, but there are a ton of things to talk about here. 6-point favorites going into Portland First off, you saw a minutes increase for Kawhi Leonard. They said they're going to increase his minutes from 20 to maybe 24-ish. Coming in here, Ty Lue is a damn dirty liar. Most NBA coaches are. But there is something that I do believe from him that he threw out here on Wednesday that's a nice little nugget. Terrence Mann going to be back in the rotation for the Clippers. Kevin Porter Jr. coming off, which I think kind of matters to this total as we're staring down the barrel of a 45-45. Now, most people are going to say Kevin Porter Jr., Eric, he's not very good at defense. Well, he stops with the ball in his hands a lot. And this is actually displayed by offensive possession length. The Clippers, they're fifth to last in the NBA, and that's James Harden and Kevin Porter Jr. in isolation at the top of the key. Yes, they'll create, but later in the shot clocks for a lot of people. And this is kind of a weird one because, again, I've revamped a lot of my process with totals. I talk about it from time to time where I wasn't very profitable at them when I started my betting journey in the mid-2010s. And then at the early point of 2021, 2022, was banging my head against a wall because all of my sharp betting friends were making tons of money on totals and I didn't get it. But I refined my process. I'm early to the party on individual placement of these individual players. And Kevin Porter Jr., while he's a net negative defender, plays with the ball in isolation a lot more than Terrence Mann, who doesn't have possession of the ball. He's going to be somebody who does play the point, but it's more of a handoff to Norman Powell for quick shots, more of a handoff to the Amir Coffees of the world, who, again, not going to be a high usage guy by any means. But I think the over of 222 is interesting because also Kawhi Leonard, not expected to play on a back-to-back, probably definitely shouldn't play on this back-to-back. So I'm expecting Kawhi out. If for whatever reason he ends up in, I apologize, but this is just going to be a lean for now. The Clippers game getting ready to tip off here in 04 minutes. So as of recording this right now, I'm interested in the total there. I'm interested in props to see who's in on this back-to-back because Norman Powell, oh, he's got the usage. He's got the power. And going up against Portland, Scoot Henderson in that starting unit, that is a big deal. You get Scoot, Anthony Simons, and Shaedon Sharpe, who just didn't even show up. Denny Avdia off the floor, going to be doubtful entering this one. Tons of ways where I think this total can work for you. So if you're interested, over 222, I do have this at 225 under the circumstances, but the game hasn't played out yet. Do want to see these Clippers rotations in action to see if Ty Lue's telling us the truth, but also Portland, I think they continue to start Scoot coming off of like the most unbelievably effective shooting night of his life. I mean, just ridiculous stuff. That's not going to happen again, but wouldn't mind it if I end up on this total. And the last game of the night, my favorite spot as of right now, I can't believe I'm doing this too. Houston giving up 3.5 going up against Sacramento. Man, what a wonky total, friends. Not a wonky total. What a wonky spread this is. Mainly because Houston, adjusted net rating, 4th in the NBA, +5. They're 26-12 entering Wednesday. But notice how I said entering Wednesday. They're playing basketball today. The Sacramento Kings are not. And they get a very, very, very important piece who is near and dear to my heart because he's made me a lot of money in the points plus assists realm this year, Malik Monk. He is a very positive offensive player. I assume he goes back into starting, and now you're going to be able to bring those minutes and stagger a little bit of Keon Ellis defense when you need it. You also get extra minutes here in this spot on Wednesday for the Houston Rockets, having to take on, I would say, just a pretty difficult spot in general in the Denver Nuggets. Now, Jokic did not end up playing, but the line only flipped to 3 that we saw there. You're still a little bit shorthanded with Jabari Smith out, with Tari Eason out, and Jock Landale, who was out for personal reasons today. We'll see if he ends up playing here on the back-to-back, although it'll only be a smattering of minutes. Now, Houston, you have Amen Thompson, young player, going to probably play a lot here, but Fred VanVleet, does he play on the back-to-back? Steven Adams, does he play on the back-to-back? Alperen Sengun, I'm pretty sure does as well. It's just one of those spots where you can get news to work in your favor, and I already have this as an inefficient number here where Sacramento should be just at 1.5 based on the minutes that I put in here for Houston. So, again, it's definitely a cumulative minutes issue for me. I think Sacramento, is this the first time I've backed them all year, producer Jacob? It's gotta be close. I gotta go back and look. I can actually do this here. Give me 5, 4. I bet them one other time. 0-1. We're gonna make that 1-1 here. Get some of that juice. And that does it for another edition of NBA Lindy's Leans, Likes, and Locks. Head to the comment section below. Let me know your favorite plays that exist on the board for Thursday. 5 games. Going to be super easy to give you extra props in that premium Discord to be able to fire up some pick'em cards in the premium Discord. I'm going to have plenty of time, give you all the answers, plus only 4 games coming your way for the divisional round. I cannot wait for Saturday and Sunday to plant my butt on the couch, watching all the NFL, gambling on all the basketball. Can't wait. If you guys want to hang out, join the community at Tails, at Eric Lindquist. You can follow me over on X. I'll have a Discord and all the other things that you can join. And Lindy50, 50% off. Love to see you guys there. It's good times. Except for when really crazy people show up, like on Wednesday. Anywho, producer Jacob, thank you so much. Until next time, friends, I'm Eric Lindquist. Best of luck in the NBA streets on Thursday.